Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And MyPlayboysBunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
sex.
And today we're going to be talking about why girls must date with a purpose.
Yes.
And this is going to be very female-centric. You know, and guys are going to, maybe in the back of your head, you're like, well, why do I need to know this shit?
Right.
Because the more you understand women as a aspiring Casanova, the better you can pick, the more easily you can have the skills to pick them up.
Yeah.
The more you understand about where they're coming from and how their brains work, the better you can do in understanding them. Because girls want men who just get it.
Yeah.
And even if you never voice your knowledge that you have, knowing why they act the way they do, it takes you a long way to like not getting frustrated.
Yes.
You know.
For sure.
So, and there's really two categories in when you say for women that why women don't have a lot of time.
Like childbearing versus non-childbearing ages?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
okay.
Let's start with the most popular because, you know, a lot of our guys are younger. And, you know, even Rolo talks about like girls at about 27, 28 hit that epiphany stage and they go, shit, I got to meet somebody and settle down and have kids.
I have to start having a family. So,
you know, for those that don't understand that area, talk to about women who are in childbearing years and why they have to date with a purpose.
Well, I think across the board, girls of every single age just do not have time to waste. We don't have years and years and years to devote, and for girls, it truly is a devotion to one man. Okay, so you guys may be spinning plates, and we may be one of two or three that you're dating, but we need to be dating with a purpose because we need to find the guy that we're going to marry, the guy that we're going to have children with, the guy that we're going to build a relationship, a family with, a life with. It's all about like forward thinking. Girls aren't good at big picture things unless it comes to this one subject. And we have to be good at thinking big picture when it comes to dating with a purpose so we don't waste time. So if you're in childbearing years as a female, you have to be on this constant like ticking timeline of, is this guy husband material? Would this guy make good babies? Would this guy be willing to be a husband and make good babies? What kind of dad would this guy be? Like, she doesn't have time to spend 5 years vetting you and then have you be like, no, I'm not really into marriage, or I never really wanted to have kids. She can't waste that kind of time. And I mean, I've known guys, we even have clients who genuinely just either don't want to have more kids than they've already got, don't want to have kids with this specific girl, and yet they're dating them long term. And I've told more than one man on more than one occasion, you are wasting her time. You know, if this girl is getting out of childbearing ages, it's actually a cruel thing to do, to date a girl that you don't have interest in continuing or building a life with.
Well, and let me give you, and guys are not aware of this.
Right.
And it makes you become a victim sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I've lost track. The number of women that we say, you know, how did you meet your husband? Well, da-da-da. And then we broke up.
Yeah.
Because what happens is girls at 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they go, well, this guy's never going to propose.
Right.
And they break up with him. And then he says, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I got to marry her. And then he comes back and he proposes. Because for guys, especially in their 20s and early 30s, they're just glad to be having regular sex.
Right.
And she's like, I need to get married and we need to get a house and I need to have babies. You know, and in his head, literally, he's not thinking anywhere beyond like today.
Right.
Maybe tomorrow.
Well, he can still have, he has this 80-year window where he can have kids.
Exactly.
She's got a 10-year window.
Exactly.
Healthy,
Yeah.
healthy, happy.
When we're talking about childbearing years, we are talking like 18 to about 40? I mean, as far as like, it's not ideal.
Right.
After 35,
It gets dicey.
yeah, it depends on where you're at. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's like with Rollo, with like 18 to 27, girls kind of like partying and, having fun. And then at 27, it's almost like,
Oh shit.
yeah.
If I'm not in it. Well, and this is where I have a little bit of a blind spot,
Yeah.
admittedly, because I got married at 19. I had my first children at 21, 22,
Yep.
and 28.
Yeah.
So,
done.
I was momming. I was momming by 27 hard. I was full on mom mode.
And whereas like, I didn't have my kids.
Yeah.
I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And my ex-wife was 40 when she had the last, so
last
a lot
one.
of, yeah, so, that's usually, it depends on where you're at, sometimes geographically or socioeconomically, when most people are having kids,
Right.
But it really does kind of break over to like having kids right after high school, or they tend to wait into their 30s.
But the thing with these childbearing year girls and you dating her without actually having truly any desire, and I mean,
None.
guys have the wherewithal. They're like, no, she would make a terrible mother.
Oh, yeah,
or
exactly.
no, I don't want to marry her.
How long have you been going out?
Yeah,
5 years. Yeah.
It's like, well, okay. But I mean, truly, it's a cruelty. And then these men have a blind spot and they wonder why she's losing her fucking mind.
She's crazy. Yeah.
But she literally is. Those hormones are going so nuts because she's supposed to have already be 2 or 3, babies in by now. And she doesn't even have a ring on her finger.
Quite often when you talk to these guys, the way they'll describe it is like, yeah, she just went crazy one day.
Yeah.
I mean, literally what it is it's been building up for some time.
Yeah.
Like 6 months, a year, 2 years.
5.
And he's still clueless.
Yeah.
Because a girl does truly want a man who just gets it.
Right.
And she'll want to get a proposal, but he's not even thinking about it.
No.
And we've talked about girls that are like past 35
Yeah.
that are still want to start a family. They've never been married, and you'll talk to them, and what has normally happened is they've had 1, 2, maybe 3 long relationships that just didn't work out.
Well, they've devoted
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7 years to a guy who had no intention of marrying.
Exactly.
Or they just, fell apart. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that just because you're married that things don't fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. But generally, she's had 2 or 3 bad runs
Yeah.
that didn't materialize into marriage,
And that can spend 15 years of a girl's
and now
life.
you're 35.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
rough. But then you cross over into the non-childbearing people,
Past.
the girls who maybe everybody already has kids, second, third, whatever, relationships, marriages. And her clock's ticking too, but it's in a different way. It's more like she's seen this chapter in the book before and she doesn't like the next chapter. So she's like, fuck that. I am out. I'm out. So I think that's where girls don't have the time to waste. And it comes, but the problem is with older women.
Let's define that, by the way. Like, we mean like 40 plus?
Yeah, I would say non-childbearing,
Right.
the people who already have kids and don't want them.
Right.
That's how I defined it.
Okay.
Because that could be 32, really.
Good point.
I
Because
mean,
they've had them.
Yeah, they've had kids. Everybody has kids already.
Yeah.
They're not looking to, have
Have
more. But whatever that means in your neck of the woods or your area, I would say, I think it's less specific to a specific age because it's more about
Situational.
situation.
Fascinating.
But anyway, I was saying
Why they, non-childbearing age, why they feel pressure.
I think the problem is whenever women of an older age, past childbearing, let's say, say, I don't have time for this, I don't have time to waste on this, it comes across bitchier.
It's
Whether
more
it's
harsh, yes.
whether it's intentional or not, it comes across as really cunty, because history has taught them where this path is leading, and they don't like the next chapter. They don't want to follow this path. So in, whether it's a certain behavior that a man is giving off, an intolerance that he has, a habit that he has, she's like, yeah, been there, done that. I can't do that one again.
A good example is guys that show up to a date drunk already.
Yes.
And a younger girl will be like, I can ride with this.
Yeah.
This is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, a woman who's 40 and already divorced 2 alcoholics.
Right.
She's like, she'll get her purse and walk right out.
Yeah.
So it does, that because they've seen it.
Yeah.
It's not that they're more hateful, they're just more experienced.
Right.
They've seen the bad stuff.
And that's no different than the men. Just like when we talk about, like, if you see a date's going bad, or if you see bad behavior repeated from a girl that you're seeing, we're like, cut it off. Same exact kind of thing, just on the flip side. I do think it comes across as a little bit more harsh or bitchy from a woman of 40 or above.
But they seem less tolerable. They seem less tolerant, but they have more experience, which makes them know this isn't going to go. I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I've
seen this movie. I don't like the ending.
No, I don't have to see this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already played the star role in this one.
And I think girls, because the aging process is not as kind to women.
No.
And they know that maybe inherently. You can fight it. You can exercise. You can do everything. But no matter what, 5 years on a girl is, between like 40, 45, 45, 50, 50, 55.
Yeah.
These are big changes. Whereas men, they just kind of like, it's more of a gradual, unless, they're not taking care of themselves and everything goes bad. I think when they're older, they know it's kind of like a race against time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And women just naturally do better within a relationship.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. So they're like, women tend to be, and again, listen, autists out there are exceptions to every rule. We get it. Okay? You don't have to tell us in the comments. We're good. We are speaking to the masses here and saying that women do better in relationship. That's true whether they're 16 years old or 66 years old or 96 years old.
And we see it.
We see it.
Yeah.
Girls just do better. Females just do better in relationship. And so these women that are past childbearing stages of life, shall we say, will still benefit better by not wasting, quote unquote, wasting time by dating you for 5 years if this isn't going anywhere. Now, she may be perfectly content dating you, and like we say, not getting the state involved or whatever, however you want to put it. But, I do think there's a little bit of a rub there, because as women and men get older, they each have their own assets that they need to protect in some cases. So, it gets a little bit tricky there. Yeah, it's very situational. But they're still in relationship. Maybe they're living together. Maybe they're, just living life together. The bottom line is, if it's not going where she needs it to be going for her sanity, she needs to either go or she's going to lose her fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to think she's crazy. And she is, because
she's acting crazy. She'll start acting crazy.
You're driving her crazy.
Yeah, she'll start acting crazy. And of course, and this is a caveat, look, women go through all kinds of like phases where they'll like right after a breakup, they're going to sleep with 5 or 10 guys.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean that every time a girl, talks to you, they're evaluating you for long-term potential, because it's always sex first, relationship next, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is the overview of what women are looking for long-term.
Yes.
That's
a good way to put it.
This is the big picture stuff. And then the more you know about them, the better you can understand them. You can see why, well, you know, the girl that was like 25 and you'd been dating her for 5 years, and literally she just packed up and left one day.
Yeah.
Now you know.
That's why.
It wasn't because you weren't making enough money. It wasn't because you sucked in bed. It wasn't. She just got tired of waiting to get married.
Yeah.
And you were still like playing video games.
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
she knew.
With game, you can look back and go, oh, shit. You know, I mean, this all starts making sense now.
Yeah.
You know, but you can use this to your advantage. I mean, use it as you will.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But our job is to make sure you're well informed, understand the nature of women, their drivers, their desires, and then that you can be just one of those guys that just gets it.
Just get it. And make no mistake, I don't disagree with Fort Worth very often. We are, in every encounter, evaluating who has, what kind of potential you have.
Got it.
Whether it's a casual conversation or not.
Got it. I stand corrected then.
Because we will, if we come across someone who has potential, that we think has potential to be something more than what they are in our world, it matters.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Make no mistake.
Got it.
And I think that the same is true in reverse, that men are constantly, you know, the dick test or whatever. You know, it's like, you know, does she make my dick jump? Whatever the phrase is. I don't know. I've never been a guy. But but it is. It's, you know, you're constantly like, I'd fuck that.
Well, that's almost universal.
See?
Yeah.
But this is...
That's fascinating.
Yeah. We have our own universal thing.
Okay. See, you learn something new all the time, especially on this podcast.
I love it.
If you guys like this, sign up for my newsletter. It's down below. I'll reach out to you once or twice in a little bit more detail. You know, we let you know what podcasts are coming up. We let you know what's happening. Usually we cover some topic of game, sex, relationships.
I think what's great about the newsletters, our newsletters, is that if we're putting something in a newsletter, it means that we think it's the best of the best information.
Exactly.
It's valuable, invaluable content.
And you guys are valuable to us. We appreciate you listening.
Bye.